Hello chatterbox out there, it's a brand new week, so you know what that means, a new week with lots of adventures to be had. I hope you guys are having a lovely start to your new week. It's Monday and I've got a few days off work and I was able to have a bit of a lie-in and after setting the alarms it felt so good. And I can't believe that this time last week me and Tash were in Brighton. It went so quickly, you know what they say, time flies if you're having fun. And I got up and got changed and had some toast and a cup of tea for my breakfast. I had some peanut butter toast and just watched a bit of TV, just a bit of music, and then I got myself ready to go for a walk. I was enjoying the lovely sunshine and blue skies, and whilst on my walk I was listening to some music on my headphones and I got some really pretty flowers that I'm going to show you guys. I love flower photography so much, and there's so many lovely flowers out and about at the moment, lovely roses, and I got a snap of these purple and red ones with these white splodges on, and they're so pretty. I then headed off to the high street and went off to one of the flower shops and got some plants that's on there. I was then having a lovely chat with the flower shop keepers in there, and I was telling them all about how Brighton had been, and they were also checking up on my burn, which is doing really well. It's healing nicely. I've got some lotion to put on it to help soothe it and help heal it, and then I got some flower sets on there. They've always got such beautiful bouquets of flowers in there. I then got a mirror selfie from there with this mirror with flowers around it, and I'm sure you guys that. It's such a pretty mirror. I then headed off and had a look inside the charity shops and went off to one of the book shops, and I love the smell of old books. I then went off to the plant shop at the top of the high street and I got some plants out from there, then I'll show you guys. I was having a good look around there, and the plant displays in there are so cute. I love all the succulents and cactuses and the pretty plant pots, especially the one with the frog on the side, and there's also one with the squirrel on, which is so cute. I then got a mirror side from there, from this mirror with all these plants around it, and I'll show you guys. I then went out the front of the store and they had the flowers up there, and I got some stats of those. There's some really lovely colourful flowers at the front of the shop, and I loved the roses and the sunflowers and the dahlias. Dahlias and sunflowers are my favourite flowers, and roses, just so pretty. And then I headed off and had one of the child shops, and I went off to one of them and saw this top that looked really nice. Looked it, but didn't end up getting it in the end. I then went off to one of the other shops and bumped into Tash and Jamie, who had taken T-Boo for his haircut at the groomers, so I was having a nice catch up with them. And then they headed off to get T-Boo from the groomers, and I went off and had a look at some more of the shops, and I went off to this one shop that has a cafe in the back of it and got a mirror off from there, and I'll show you guys. It's a really cute cafe. They had it made over a few months back, and I love all the mirrors and the plants hanging down. And then I headed off to W.H. Smith's, was having a look in there, and also went off to the card factory and some other shops, and then was walking past my workplace, and Tash and Jamie called me over as they were having some lunch, and I joined them, and they'd got this card game that we started playing, and they're definitely going to have to bring that to games night. It was so much fun. It was called Most Likely in the Room, and you have to read a card and it says most likely to, and the person who gets picked gets that card, and there is no winner. I think you just carry on, they keep going, or you can keep score, you don't have to keep score, you weren't keeping score, but yeah, it was so much fun. And then I headed off to get myself some lunch from Greg's, and I ended up having my Greg's in the little cafe section of Greg's, and I'll show you guys my Greg's. I had a cheese and pasty, an apple juice, and a chocolate eclair. The chocolate eclair was so good, and I had one of the new batches of the cheese and pasties as they had run out. So one was nice and hot, so I ended up having my apple juice and my eclair, and then having the juice in a plastic when I got back because it was too hot, so I had it in my bag for it to cool down. I then went off to have a look at some more of the shops and went off to go get myself a watermelon iced tea in one of the cafes. Unfortunately, it was really busy. I did, however, get a nice mirror stuff from that. I'll show you guys. That mirror wall was so cool. I love all the mirrors and the prints and the lanterns in that place. I then made my way home, and on my way back I got some flower starts that I'll show you guys. I had a lovely stroll on my way back, and I bumped into Natasha and the kids. She was bringing them back from school, and me, Tasha and Natasha need to have a catch up soon, and we've just been so busy with work, and then she was away, so we'll have to get that in there soon. And I gave her a big hug and was having a lovely chat with her. I then got home and I watched Hook, which is one of my favourite Robin Williams films. That and Mrs. Doubtfire, just love him, such a great actor, and he's so missed. And then I was listening to a bit of music and doing some drawing, colouring in, and just reading some more one day, and had a cup of tea and some biscuits, and was just tidying my office and my dolls and dollhouse, and watching some vlogs and funny dog and cat videos. And then I went off to the shops and got some stuff for tea, and then I got back and I forgot to get my younger sister the chocolate she asked for. Went back up and they didn't have any in there, so I'm going to have to get her some tomorrow. I'm going to the garden centre tomorrow, so I'll get some on the way back from there. She's given me the money to get the chocolate, so I'll get that tomorrow. And then I got back and my older sister and our family friends had been for a walk, and when I'd gone to the shops the first time round, I had seen them and they had come back to ours and taken the dog for a walk. And then I was just listening to a bit of music and watching some episodes of Doctor Who and watching a bit of Merlin. And then for my tea I had some eggs and soldiers, and I'll show you guys that. The eggs and soldiers were so good, nice and runny. And then my older sister and her family friends got back from taking Bear for his walk, and they stayed for a little bit and then headed off back to my older sister's house. And I'm now off to go and finish writing my journal entry for today, and then I'm going to be watching today's Home and Away and the UK soaps. I shall see you with more to vlog tomorrow. It's now Tuesday and I got up, showered and changed, ready to head off to the garden centre, and had some crumpets and a cup of tea for my breakfast. I was then just watching some episodes of Neighbours, have a few episodes of that to catch up on. I'm going to catch up on tomorrow. I then got myself ready to head off to the garden centre and head off to get the bus, and I got there just as the bus arrived, which is very lucky. I then got the bus to the garden centre and I got off, crossed over the road, and then went down and had to cross over this main road which has one lane going that way, another lane going that way, and one road going up. So it is always a little bit stressful, but I got in there and survived. I've crossed over there hundreds of times, but it's always very stressful, and it's a bit of a weird place to have a garden centre with all those roads everywhere, so it makes it hard to get into there. And I got into the garden centre and headed off to the plant section. First of all, I got some plants that's on there. That plant section is huge, and I just love all the pretty succulents and cactuses and the plant pots and all the pretty little plant displays they have in there. I was able to get some really pretty plants that's on there. I then headed off to the homeware and stationery section, and they have really pretty mug and saucers and lots of stationery and really pretty plant pots, and was having a lovely look around there. And I then head off to the flower section and got lots of flower starts. I was able to get lots of lovely colourful flower starts. I love all the roses and the sunflowers and dahlias. Roses, dahlias and sunflowers are my favourite flowers to get snaps of. They're so beautiful. I then got a snap of this beautiful statue with flowers all around it. I love that statue with the flowers all over it, and it's just so pretty. I then headed off to get myself some lunch from the cafe, and I had a cheese and tuna melt with a pot of tea and a cherry bakewell cake, and I'm sure you guys that. It was so delicious. I then headed off and had a look around some more of the garden centre and was able to get some more flowers up. They've got so many beautiful flowers in that garden centre. I could be in there all day if I could. I also got a load of selfies in front of some of the plant displays, and they had a load of little display set up house displays and living room displays like they have in IKEA. So I was getting a load of photos in front of those. Felt like I was playing house, and then I got this snap of a robin, and I'll show you guys. I was able to get a really good shot of that robin. They say that if you see a robin, it's supposed to be a lost loved one coming to say hello, and I love that idea. I then got some bits from the garden centre, and I got some lemon curd. I needed to get some more, and I love lemon curd so much. Although my mum isn't a fan and she always calls it lemon turd. And then I got some sweets from the sweets section. I got some banana and shrimp, and these are not going to last long. They're so good. I then got this little soft dog toy for Bear, and it is a little bone and has his name on. I'm going to attempt to get a photo of him sat with this in front of him, but I don't know how it will work or if it will work, so just hope for the best, and yeah, I'm hoping it works out. I have a vision and I'm hoping it comes to light, but who knows what will happen. I then got the bus back from being at the garden centre and got back to where I got the bus from, and it came quite quickly, like the one when I was getting the bus to the garden centre, so I've been very lucky not having to wait too long for the buses. I then got off from Aldi's bus stop and went off and had a look outside the child shop, and I got my younger sister some chocolate that she'd asked for me to get for her, and she'd given me the money, but the shop I went to yesterday night didn't have any, so I was able to get her some. And I then popped into my workplace to see Tash, and she fished at 3, and then we head off to one of the pubs and had some sex on the beaches. I bloody love sex on the beach, and I'll show you guys a snap that we got with our sex on the beaches. They're so good. We sat out in the little sofa area out in the courtyard, and we were just chatting and talking about our next holiday, which is going to be to the Isle of Wight next year, and already getting that rolling. And then I made my way home, and I'm now back, and I am now off to go and give Bear this toy and attempt to get a photo of him with it, so wish me luck, fingers crossed. And I have jigsaw volunteering this evening, so we're going to be going off to there shortly, just going to be chilling and charging my phone because it's about to die, and then head off there, and I'll see you with more of the vlog when I'm back from that. It's later on in the evening now, and I'm back from being at jigsaw volunteering. I got dropped out there by my dad, and we were doing some litter picking, so we had those grabber claw things and some plastic bags, and head off for a little walk and did some litter picking, and there's a little bit of a competition going on between the jigsaw youth clubs. We have one on Monday night and one on Tuesday night, and the youth club that can collect the most litter will win a prize. So we were trying to get the most litter picked up, and we did really well, and I think we were in really great shots. And then we headed back to jigsaw and had some drinks and some crisps, and then it was the end of the session, and I then went off down to one of the pubs where some of my mates were playing this Dungeons and Dragons style game, and I had a drink and was just watching that, and then I headed home, and it was actually blowing my mind. I was going to be joining and playing, but I'm glad I could spectate it because I don't think I would have been able to kept up with the game. It seemed very complicated, and I then got myself some oatmeal raisin biscuits from the Co-op. I love those cookies so much, they're so delicious. And then I made my way back, and on my way back I was listening to music on my headphones, and got home, and I then got this snap of Bear with his little cuddly bone that has his name on, and I didn't think I'd be able to do it, but he was so well behaved and managed to get the snap, and I'll show you guys. He is so precious. I then had my mac and cheese for tea. The mac and cheese was so delicious, and I'm now just off to watch today's Home and Away and UK soaps. I finished writing my journal entry for today, and shall see you with more of the vlog tomorrow. It's now Wednesday, and I got up early so I could catch up on Neighbours and not be disturbed. I still have 2 or 3 episodes left to watch, as I had quite a lot of episodes to catch up on since being away in Brighton last week. I wasn't able to watch it then, and so I'll have to watch the rest of them later on in the week when I get some spare time. I then had some toast and a cup of tea for my breakfast, and I had some of the lemon curd I got from the garden centre yesterday, and it's so good. Haven't had lemon curd in ages, and I always remember these lemon curd tarts that my grandma used to do for us, and they're always so good. I then listened to a bit of music and some drawing and colouring in. I was watching some vlogs and TikToks and some funny dog and cat videos, and then was tidying up my office a little bit from where we work on some illustrations and colouring some of those in, so it was a little bit messy. And then my mum and dad had to pop out, and I was just watching some stuff on Netflix and having some bear cuddles, and he loves his bear bone that he got with his name on, and he's been playing with that quite a lot, bless him, and he's getting so big. And then for my lunch I had some cucumber sandwiches and a cup of tea, and my mum and dad got back, and I then headed off on a walk, and I went off to the high street and I had a look in some of the child shops. I went off to one of the book shops and went off into WH Smith as well to have a little look around there, and then bumped into my family friend and was having a nice chat with them. And then I went off to the lounge and got a watermelon iced tea, and I'm going to show you guys that. The watermelon iced tea was so good, and it had been raining earlier on in the morning, but then by the afternoon the sunshine had come out and it was lovely and sunny with beautiful blue skies, so the rain luckily had come in the night and early on in the morning, so by the time everyone was out and about the sunshine was back, which is great, and it had cooled it down a little bit, so there's a bit of a breeze, so it wasn't as sticky or stuffy as it has been, which is great because I'm not a big fan of when it's too hot. I like there to be at least a little bit of a breeze. I then head off and had a look around some more of the shops, and then I went off for more of a walk, and I was listening to some music on my headphones and got some flower snaps. Such a big walk, and it's just such a lovely day. I was able to get such beautiful colourful flowers. I love all the roses and the dahlias and sunflowers that are out and about. I then got back and I sorted out my Bleacher doll into a new look. Here's my Bleacher doll's newest look. Starting off with these shoes, she's got this pair of red black lace up boots and then some black netting stockings, and then this stunning red sparkly dress with this double chained necklace, and then her black jacket and her black hat, and this is the whole look. Love that new look. I was then just listening to a bit of music, and I've been obsessed with Charlie XCX Party For You. It's such a great song, and I've had that on repeat, and I've not been able to stop watching Overcompensating. I've been seeing lots of TikToks about it, and I just love that series. I really hope there's a season 2. It's such a great show. And then I was just watching some episodes of Doctor Who, and was just listening to a bit of Kylie, and she's touring over here at the moment. Gutted I didn't get any tickets, but I'm loving seeing all the TikToks showing it and being able to watch along, which has been great. And then for my tea I had some noodles, and I'll show you guys that. They were so delicious. And then my dad got back from doing a disco, and I then went off for a little evening stroll, and I got some flower snaps that I'll show you guys. I had a lovely time out on my evening stroll and was able to get some really pretty flower snaps with such lovely colours on and patterns on. And then I got back and I had a cup of tea and some biscuits, and I've just been doing some new illustrations and cutting some more of those in, and I'm now off to go and write my journal entry for today and watch today's Home and Away and UK soaps. And tomorrow me and Tash are going off to Shelley's for breakfast, and then we're going to be heading off into the mall, and then we're going to be watching Lilo and Stitch. And they've got a load of Lilo and Stitch merch at the moment, mainly Stitch merch. So they've got Stitch ears, Stitch cups and Stitch popcorn tubs, and I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that when we get there that it's not all sold out. I don't think it shall be, because it's the second day of it being out in cinema, and they should probably have like a lot in stock just in case it does all get grabbed up, but fingers crossed it doesn't. I'm sure it won't all be gone, because I'm looking forward to getting myself a bit of Stitch merch, because I mean, who doesn't love a bit of Stitch? And I will see you with more of the vlog tomorrow. It's now Thursday, and I got up early ready to go off to Shelley's for breakfast with Tash, and before that I was just getting myself showered and changed and was catching up on Neighbours, and I had a cup of tea in my Lilo and Stitch mug, as it felt very fitting, as after going off to Shelley's with Tash we were going off into see the new live action Lilo and Stitch, and I was so excited to go and see that. One of my favourites from my childhood. I love the animation one and the series, so I was looking forward to seeing this live action one. I then got myself ready to head off to meet Tash at Shelley's for some breakfast, and whilst on my way there I was listening to music on my headphones, enjoying the lovely sunshine and blue skies. I was able to get some flower stats whilst on my walk, let me show you. I was able to get some really pretty flower stats whilst on my walk up to meet Tash at Shelley's. I then got to Shelley's and I got a mirror selfie from there whilst waiting for Tash to arrive, and I'm sure you guys that. It's such a pretty mirror, and I love getting mirror selfies from there with all the plants hung down. And then Tash arrived and we ordered our food, and I had a fire, and I'm sure you guys. The breakfast was so good. They always do such good breakfast in there. And then me and Tash headed off to get the bus into the mall to then head over to the cinema, and we then got to the mall and went off and had at some of the shops before heading off to the cinema. And I got some Stitch ears and a Stitch notebook from Claire's Accessories. These stitches are so cute, and I got this notebook which is Stitch and it's so fluffy, and then it has a notebook of Scrumpy, Lilo's cuddly toy, and I just love these furry soft notebooks, and it's so soft. And then we headed off to the cinema where I got some of the Lilo and Stitch live action movie merch that they were selling. I was a little bit worried that they were gonna have any, and I got this Lilo and Stitch cup with a little figure of Stitch by the little straw, and he's playing the guitar. And this popcorn tub again, it says Lilo and Stitch, and he's playing the guitar again. And I also got some other Stitch ears that I gave to my younger sister, as she really wanted me to get her some. And Tash and me headed off into the cinema, and it was only me and like 4 or 5 other people, and we got a selfie wearing the Stitch ears that will show you guys. I love those Stitch ears. And then we finished watching the movie, and it was Tash's first time watching Lilo and Stitch ever, and she absolutely loved it. It's a bit of an emotional roller coaster, but it was brilliant, and I just absolutely loved it. Love Lilo and Stitch. I love the animated ones and the series they did, and the live action is just so good. And then after that we head off back to the mall and had some lunch at Slim Chickens, and I'll show you guys the lunch I had. I had some chicken wraps with some chips and coleslaw and a vanilla milkshake, and it was so delicious. We then stayed in there for a little bit as our eyes were bigger than our belly. I think we ate a little bit too much, and then we headed off and had a look at some more of the shops, had a look in Krispy Kreme to see if they had any Stitch themed donuts. Unfortunately they didn't. I think that would have been such a good thing to have, seeing as the movies just come out, but unfortunately they didn't. And then we went off to Marks and Spencer's flower section, and I got some flower snaps from there. Let me show you guys. The flower section is always so beautiful with lots of lovely roses. I was getting some really nice flower snaps from there, and then we went into Mankind and to some of the other shops, and then we got the bus back, and I got off by Aldi and walked back and was listening to some music on my headphones, having a lovely stroll back, and I'm now home. And I was going to be going to touch rugby this evening, but my mum and dad think it's best for me to rest up a bit more because I'm still getting over the secondary burn on my stomach, and I don't really want to be getting knocked about and making it sore. So I had my stuff already, but I think I'm going to give it a miss. I keep forgetting that I do have a secondary burn. It's still a little bit sore, so I think I'm going to give it a miss and then go back next Thursday. My older sister was going to be going, but she's down in Sudbury at the Children's Sudbury Festival they've got going on down there. Where's my invite, eh? So I'm just going to be chilling before going off to Jen's tonight for games night. And my dad was clearing out more of my grandma's house and found the Lego box from our childhood and from my dad's childhood. Is about 45 years old. So I'm going to show you guys a clip of me looking through that. Here is the Lego that was at my grandma's, and I used to always love playing with this when staying over at my grandma's house with my grandma and my granddad, and I used to play with the Lego with them, and we'd make houses and stuff, and it looks like most of it hasn't been touched for a long time, so some of it is still put together from when we played with it. I used to always love making towers and swords out of this with all the blocks, and there's some really cool cars in here and lorries that we used to play with as well. There's some tractors and then some figures as well. This figure, I remember this cat with the basket of flowers. I used to always love playing with this one. And then onto the Lego. Again, like some of this has been put together, like this one, and this bit, like we have some windows and doors. There's one of the doors, and it's just like bringing back so many memories. I just love it. And then there's another window, and I think there were some people in here as well. Yep, there's one of the people that I used to always play with the Lego, and I am now going to be having a play with some of the Lego and just having a nice trip down memory lane, and shall see you with a bit more of the vlog later on. It's later on in the evening now, and I'm back from being at games night at Jen's. So I got dropped down there by Tash and Jamie and their dad, and I'd gone to the shops to get some drinks for games night. So I got some Sprite and some Fanta and some cherry cola, and I got back and they then came and picked me up, and we got to games night, and it was me, Jenny, Jamie, Tash and Dean, and we were having some hot dogs, and I'm going to show you guys that. The hot dogs were so good. I had mine with some onions and ketchup on, and then we played this game called Most Likely To, which is a card game where we decide reading most likely to, and the one we think is likely to do it wins that card, and you have 3 bits to read. If nobody wins, you read the second bit, and if no one wins that one, you read the third one. And so we played that for 3 turns, and it was really good, and I won. And then we played Monopoly Flip, and then we had some chocolate cake, and I'll show you guys that. The chocolate cake was so delicious. We then played this game called the Sound Game, and then we called it a night, and I got dropped back by Jamie and Tash and their dad, and I got home and finished writing my journal entry for today and put that away, and I am now off to go and watch today's Home Away and UK soaps. I shall see you in morning vlog tomorrow. It's now Friday, and I got up ready to go off to morning group and had some breakfast. I just watched a bit of TV, And then my mum dropped me off to morning group, and I got to morning group and we were doing some baking. I always love doing baking at morning group, and we were making some pizzas. And so we made the dough and then got all the stuff on and put some tomato puree on the base, and then we put the cheese and some mushroom and some oregano and some peppers and some pepperoni on, and then got those in the oven to cook. And then we had some coffees and teas and some biscuits and just had a good natter. And whilst we were having our break, I went out into the garden and got some flower starts from there. The gardens are so beautiful. And then after we'd had our tea and coffee break, the pizzas were then finished, and I'm going to show you guys a snap of my pizza. It came out so well and smelled so good. And then it was the end of the session, and I got picked up by my mum. I then got home and I had some of my pizza that I'd made at morning group, and it was so good. And then I found out that Doctor Who and Barbie are releasing a collaboration, and I can't wait to get these dolls, and I'm going to show you guys a snap of those. They look so awesome. I can't wait to add those to my collection. Hopefully they'll be up on Amazon soon, so I'll be able to get them from there. I then was just reading a bit more of One Day and working on some illustrations and cutting some of those in and listening to a bit of music. I then got my uniform ready for work this evening. I'm doing 6 till 10, and then I got myself ready to go off to see my grandma in her rehabilitation place that she is at the moment. She's just had surgery on her feet, so my mum and myself went there. And just before going in there to see my grandma, I got a snap of this really cute bike with flowers on and 2 flower snaps. I'm going to show you guys those. It's such a cute place, and it feels really cozy and welcoming in there, so I know that she's in good hands. And we headed off in there to see her and had a good catch up with her, and she's doing well and healing well. And then I was telling her all about my plans to go down to Exeter for the day when Tash and Jenny go down Monday to Wednesday, and I'm going to be getting the train on my own. A little bit nervous because I haven't done it before, but I'm going to be getting some assistance to help me make sure that I get on the right platform, just because it's my first time and I'm going to be a little bit nervous, but I'm sure I shall be fine and can't wait for that. And then I was telling her all about morning group and how I've been making pizzas, and she's asking me about my burn, and it's doing a lot better. Still a little bit sore, but a lot better than it was. And then we got back and I had some egg mayonnaise sandwiches and a cup of tea and watched Escape to Country and Garden Rescue. And my older sister has popped over and we were playing with Bear out in the garden, and I got a snap of Bear, and I'll show you guys that. He's getting so big. I then went off to the shops and got myself a drink and some bits and pieces for work this evening, and I'm now just going to be chilling before going off to work this evening, doing my 6 till 10, and just see you with a bit more vlog when I'm back from work. It's later on in the evening now, and I'm back from being at work. I had work 6 till 10, so I got dropped off work. I got into work, got clocked in, and put my bag and coat away, and cracked on with some of the cleaning jobs I could get done and some of the clothes jobs. I was done doing some food and drink orders and drinks making and running food and drinks and cleaning lots of tables inside as well as outside. I had quite a lot of people coming in for drinks as it was lovely and sunny. It's a really nice sunny evening, and it's the last day of sunshine as we're supposed to be getting quite a lot of rain coming in. It's half term next week, so I'm not surprised. And I got my 2 work tops that we've just got in, so we've got some new work tops, and I've got one pink and one green one, and I changed it into my green one. It's like a mint green colour and it's really nice, and then the other one is like a strawberry milkshake pink. And then I got one of the new summer menus for me to study, so I know where everything is on the till. And then I was just doing lots of drinks making and putting glasses away and clean plates and cups and cutlery away, and then it quieted down and I got to finish about 9ish instead of 10. I then clocked off, got my bag, and then headed off to the pub and had a drink from there and stayed there for a bit. And one of my mates was in there with sort of his mates when they were joining down. I then made my way home, and on the way back I was listening to some music on my headphones. I then got in and I got into my PJs, and then for my tea I had some curry, and I'll show you guys that. The curry was so delicious. I then finished writing my journal entry for today and put that away, and I got my uniform ready for work tomorrow evening. I'm doing 5 till 10 and I'm not in now till tomorrow evening, so it means I get to have a little bit of a lie-in, and I'm looking forward to that. And I'm probably just going to chill, and depending on the weather I might go for a walk, maybe get some flower snaps. And I hope you guys all have had a lovely evening and all have a lovely weekend ahead, and I shall see you with more of the vlog then. It's now Friday, and I got up, showered and changed, and had some lemon curd toast and a cup of tea for my breakfast, and just watched a bit of TV and was listening to some music and had the 80s music channel blasting, and it was playing a bit of Mel and Kim, a bit of Duran Duran, a bit of Human League. I love a bit of the 80s. I then got myself ready and went off on a massive walk, and whilst on my walk I was listening to music on my headphones, and I got some flower snaps. I was able to get some really pretty flower snaps with lovely colours on, and got some selfies in for some of the lovely flowers and blossoms as well. And then I made my way up to the high street and had a look in some of the charity shops, and I went off into one of the cafes. I was going to get some lunch from there, but it was a little bit busy in there. I did get a mirror slice from there, I'm sure. I love that mirror wall, it's so pretty. I love the flowers by the mirror as well, so cute. I then had a look around some more of the shops, and I went for more of a walk and got some more flower snaps. I just love flower photography so much, it makes me so happy. I then had a look in the library and had a look around there, as I hadn't been in there for ages, and went off to one of the bookshops and W. Smith's, and then bumped into my family friend and chatted with them whilst in the coffee lab, as I hadn't seen them in a long time, and was having a lovely chat with them. And then I got myself a Welsh cake shaped like a heart and a hot chocolate from there. I then made my way home, and on the way back I got some more flower snaps. I had a lovely stroll back, and I managed to avoid the rain just until I was almost home, and then it started to rain, and luckily I didn't get too soaked. And then got back, and for my lunch I had some 8 Malay sandwiches and a cup of tea, and then was watching the latest Wallace and Gromit movie with my mum and dad. Such great films. And I'm now off to go to work. I've got work 5 till close, and shall see you when I'm back from work. It's later on in the evening now, and I'm back from being at work. I've worked 5 till close, so I got ready for work, got dropped to work and got clocked in and put my bag away, and it was just me and one other colleague to start with, and then Tash came in at 6 as she'd been on a split shift, and I was just running some food and drinks, doing some food orders and drinks making, and cleaning tables inside and outside, and just chatting to some of the regulars. And then I was just polishing some of the cutlery and put some clean plates and cups away, and then Tash got to finish about 8ish, and it was just me and one other of my colleagues until close, and I was just getting sort of cleaning and clothes shops done that I could do, and we smashed out the clothes, and I finished about 11ish, and I clocked off, got my bag, and then headed off to the pub after work and had a drink. Just had a cola from there and sat and chatted with some of my mates who were there, so just chatted with them. And then I made my way home, and I walked back, and it was drizzling a little bit, and it was so hot in my workplace, it's like a sauna in there, so I really enjoyed the refreshing light rain and listened to some music. And I don't really like walking home on my own in the evening when it's dark, it's a little bit scary, but with my music on it was actually quite chilled, and it was a nice stroll back. I then bumped into one of my mates who had been at the pub, and he was a little bit tipsy, so we were having a bit of a chat, and then he got picked up by his mate, and I then got home and I got into my PJs, and for my tea I had fish and chips, and I'll show you guys that. The fish and chips were so good with lots of curry sauce. Got to be done. I then finished writing my journal entry for today and got my cleaning form ready for work tomorrow. I'm doing a 10 to 5. I thought I was going to be doing a 9 to 5, but it turns out I'm doing a 10 to 5, which means I get a little bit of a lie-in. And my older sister has just got back from being out in town with sort of the rugby lot, so my mum's just dropped her back home, and I'm not off to go and watch brand new Doctor Who. I shall see you with more of the vlog tomorrow. It's now Sunday, and I hope you guys are all having a lovely Sunday rest. I got up ready for work and had some toast and a cup of tea for my breakfast. I just watched a bit of TV, and then my dad dropped me off to work, and I got to work, got clocked in and put my bag and kit away, and it was me and 3 other colleagues on shift, and it was pretty busy being a bank holiday weekend. So I was running lots of food and drinks and doing some food and drink orders and drinks making and cleaning lots of tables, and so I chatted to some of the regulars, and we had a new colleague on shift, and it was my first time working with this colleague. He did really well, and I introduced myself, and then I was just cleaning tables inside as well as outside, and we had quite a few bookings and quite a few big bookings as well. So I was getting the tables all set ready for them to be coming in, and then we had a musician come in about 1ish and perform some songs, and I got to have a lunch break about 2ish, and I had one of the egg sandwiches from the new food menu, and I'll show you guys. It was so delicious. I'll definitely be having that again. I was sat on the comfy sofa area just by the bar listening to the performing whilst on my lunch break, and then set my alarm to go off when my break was over. My alarm went off signaling the end of my lunch break, so I then got on with the rest of my shift and was cleaning more tables, and from 3 till 5 it was just me and one other colleague on shift, and we were both finishing at 5, and we had 2 bookings come in, and then I had a few more walk-ins, and I was just running some more food and drinks and doing some food and drink orders and drinks making and pint pouring, and then I finished at 5 and I clocked off. I got my bag and coat, and I got changed into this t-shirt I'm wearing right now. I had my coat with me as it was supposed to rain, but it's actually been quite sunny and lovely blue skies. A little bit windy, but other than that it's been lovely and it hasn't rained, thankfully. I then headed off and got some money out, as I have cash to use throughout the week so I don't tap so much, and I like to be able to know how much I'm spending, whereas if you tap you never know how much you're spending because you get so used to just tapping on our cards. So it's a good way to budget and to save and not spend as much, and it has helped, and I've been able to save up a lot more money and not spend as much. And I then went off to the cafe just across the way from there, and I got a milkshake, and just before that arrived I got a mirror selfie from there. Let me show you guys. I love that mirror with the lights either side, it's so pretty. I then sat on one of the sofa areas and my milkshake arrived, and I'm going to show you guys that. It was so delicious. I had a strawberries and cream milkshake with coconut milk. I then made way off, and on my way back I've listened to some music on my headphones, and I got some flour snacks and shake. Lovely Sunday stroll and was enjoying the sunshine and blue skies. I did manage to fall over and cut my knee again. My knees are going to be permanently dented, and I looked at my knees the other day and thought, my knees are looking quite good. I haven't cut them in ages, and so I went off to One Stop and got myself a drink from there for work tomorrow. I'm doing 11 till 2 and just helping with the morning rush and lunch rush if it's busy, so that's why they've got me in just in case. And I then got some plasters and put a plaster on my knee. I then got back and I put my work clothes in the wash and got my clean uniform ready for work tomorrow, and then I was just writing some of my journal listening to a bit of music and just doing some drawing and colouring in and tidying up my office and my dolls and dollhouse, and watching some vlogs and TikToks and funny dog and cat videos. And my latest TikTok I posted about watching the Lilo and Stitch live action film has blown up. It's got quite a lot of likes and comments, which is really cool. And then my older sister came over for tea, and it was just me, my mum, my dad and my sisters for tea, as my younger brother and his girlfriend weren't coming, and my older brother and his girlfriend. We're seeing them tomorrow on Bank Holiday Monday, which would be nice. And then we had our Sunday roast, and I'll show you guys that. The Sunday roast was so delicious, and then after that we had some donuts. I had my donut with a cup of tea, and I had a jam donut. I love jam donuts so much. And then me and my older sister took Bear off for a walk. He was pulling on his lead a little bit, and normally he's not too bad, and he was getting a bit sweet by the wind. And then we got back and we watched a little bit of Andy's Roadshow, and my older sister then headed home. I then was writing a bit of my journal entry, working on some illustrations and colouring some of those in, and just watched some vlogs and TikToks and some funny dog and cat videos. And then I was just tidying up my office and my dolls and dollhouse, and got my uniform ready for work tomorrow. I'm doing 11 till 2, and I'm now off to go and watch last night's Doctor episode. I was going to be watching it last night, but I started watching it, and just after the theme tune had finished, I was like, there's no point, I'm just so tired, my eyes are feeling so heavy, and I was like, I'm not going to be able to watch it properly, so I'm going to be watching it in a little bit. And I am then just going to be finishing off writing my journal and getting myself nice and chilled out, and don't have back till 11 tomorrow, so I'm getting a little bit of a line, which will be good. And I hope you guys have all had a lovely week and weekend, and have all had a lovely bank holiday weekend, and have a great bank holiday Monday. Please like, comment and subscribe. I shall see you with a new vlog coming very soon.